I'm John Batchelor with the New World Report with Ernesto Araújo from the former Foreign Ministry of Brazil and Joseph Umar of the Executive Director of Secure Free Society. The news from El Salvador is strange unto up to date. The history here is that in the summer fall of 2021, the populist president, so-called by the news, Nayib Bukele, promised to make his nation a Bitcoin capital of the world. He had fantastic ideas, including using a volcano to generate Bitcoin in the mining operation. It's quite fantastic, and it was breathtaking at the time. At the time, in 2021, I read from the news, Bukele offered every citizen the equivalent of $30 in a national wallet and has spent $107 million of public money on digital coins in an effort to springboard the country out of poverty. The answer so far is that Bitcoin has collapsed in the retreat in the markets these last weeks, down now 60%, as the news says, wiping away tens of millions of dollars worth of hopes. At the same time, Bukele's government has been making mass arrests, saying that this is the way we're going to break the narco-terrorist gangs that routinely traffic through El Salvador. Joseph, we can't solve this, but are these events completely separate, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and the mass arrests? Because there is anecdote that the cryptocurrency has been highly useful to narco-terrorist gangs.
No, John, I think we can connect these, but let's unpack them one by one. The Bitcoin issue is an issue of the Salvadorian president, Nayib Bukele, trying to paint a mirage inside the country and to the international community that El Salvador is this new hip, next generation, economically innovative country, but really in a way that didn't actually work. When he adopted Bitcoin as a currency inside El Salvador last September, he offered this $30 incentive, as you mentioned, but after that $30 incentive was done, pretty much nobody else started using the state-backed crypto wallet, which was called Chivo. I think it's only 10% of them, of the users are currently using it. And then when Bitcoin took a massive plunge, we're talking about 60%, the whole entire crypto market took a massive plunge this year. We're talking about $63 million in losses in Salvador, in a country that isn't very rich or doesn't have much prosperity. And so really it failed, that policy. Now I'm sure President Bukele would talk about how he's going to rebound by buying the dip and the rebound of the price of Bitcoin. Now that's all remains to be seen. But why I say that can connect to the same as the insecurity situation is that's also painting another mirage. Bukele tried to paint the mirage that he's been able to control the homicide rates that historically have been high inside his country because he was able to have some level of tranquility with the gangs. He was able to control the gang violence that's been plaguing El Salvador for decades. But that was really a false truce. And this has been tried before. I mean, we could go back to Salvador Sanchez-Cerén in 2012 when he signed a truce between the gangs, the MS-13 and Barrio 18, the two prominent gangs in Salvador. And it lasted a couple years, and then it broke down and massive rates of homicides skyrocketed by 2015, where you had the highest homicide rates in the world. So the same thing is kind of playing out, where last year Bukele has a sort of truce with the gangs so that they could cut down on the homicides. And that truce breaks pretty much in March of this year, and the homicide rates are now starting to uptick, and that sparks his heavy-handed approach to cracking down on the gangs. But it really was prompted by his promises to the gangs of basically making them much more embedded into the political apparatus inside the country and offering gifts and sweeteners and incentives to the gang leadership, which usually doesn't trickle down to the gang soldiers that are on the streets. That was the same mistake that Sanchez-Cerén made back in 2012, and I think Bukele's made the same mistake. So the common denominator here, John, is that there's this kind of mirage that President Bukele wants to paint to the world that he's handling crime and he's handling the economy. But if you go into Salvador and speak with the Salvadorians, they don't see it that way, and a lot of them are seeing pretty much an authoritarian being built inside their country.